I'm Jess Wright, the founder of Subundle, a subscription management and billing platform, accelerating e-commerce by making tailored subscription models accessible to all of e-commerce. E-commerce is a $27 trillion industry that's being underserved and using software not fit for purpose. This is limiting growth. The solution is Subundle, purpose-built for e-commerce, providing complete control and flexibility for retailers and consumers. We're really excited to be a finalist on She Loves Tech 2022, and I look forward to meeting you at the She Loves Tech Pitch Night on the 20th of October.
Hi, I'm Nicole, founder of Travis. We believe that creators are crucial to the future of travel, and I've seen this firsthand. I used to be a creator. I've managed countless of influencer campaigns, and I've also worked in strategy consulting with large tourism organizations. Now, creators are already changing how we discover, plan, and book travel. Micro creators, those under 100K followers, make up 90% of creators in the world today. Their content is trusted, but there is no systemized way for them to make money. And Travis is here to change this. We are disrupting the $800 billion online travel industry with a platform that empowers creators to earn from their travel recommendations.
The way the world views food is messing with our mental health. We estimate that the average person spends about a third of their brain space worrying about food and its impacts on our bodies. I'm Bree, and alongside my co-founder Alicia, we are Whirl, boosting the world's mood through food. Whirl is an app that provides our users with nutrition support for their mental well-being, based on the scientific links between the gut and the brain. We are super excited to share more about Whirl and our vision, and look forward to seeing you on the night.
All right, round of applause, everyone. All right, super exciting. We're gonna be hearing from all of them soon. But first of all, thank you everyone for joining us in this cloudy, sunny Melbourne afternoon, which is such a blessing for us these days, right? So yay! And thank you again for everyone tuning in online. Welcome to She Loves Tech Australia Round 2022, the world's largest startup competition, and we are live in 70 plus countries with 28 rounds across the globe. I am Rani, and I'll be your host for today. So hi everyone. A round of applause for all of us here. I would like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples that might be here today with us. Today, we will be hearing 8 amazing pitches from the women-led startups that we have today with us. Sorry, it's just a bit of a juggle with 3 things. So today we'll be hearing pitches from 8 women-led startups across Australia who will pitch for a spot to represent the continent at the Global Bootcamp and Global Finals with a sponsored trip to Singapore to attend She Loves Tech Global Conference and more than 500,000 prizes in direct investments and cash prizes up for grabs. This is a bit of agenda today. So we'll start with some openings, and after that we'll hear some keynote speech. And also we'll go straight to the pitches. I know there's no breaks in between the 8 pitches because the timeline is a bit tight, but if at any time you need to go to the washroom, please do so at your convenience. The washroom is just over there, right? Just be careful, there's a lot of AV stuff going on there, but it's just behind, so it's convenient. All right, so just introducing the team behind She Loves Tech Australia. So it's been a pleasure doing this with Connie, who's been amazing, championing She Loves Tech for the past 3 years. She was the one who brought She Loves Tech to Australia in 2020. And this is the 3rd year we're here, and first time doing it in person. I would like to invite Connie to the stage to just say a few words. Connie?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Connie. As Rennie just introduced, I've been organizing She Loves It for the past 3 years. 2 years, this is the 3rd year. And thanks to all of our amazing judges, mentors, community partners to make it happen this year, because for the past 2 years, everything was just switched online, and this is the first time for us to organize an offline event. I'm so happy to meet everyone in person. And this is such a big event, such an amazing event. And also we have a special thanks to Rennie. You gave me such a great support and contributions. Some of you may know that, especially for past 2 years, everyone's saying that VC tech investment has dramatically declined but I think great things always comes after a downturn. So especially this year, what surprised me quite a lot is that female tech founders in Australia, they are trying to break the situations. Like for the traditional tech-oriented startups, they always trying focusing too much on the fundraising, the scaling at all the cost. But this year, instead of playing to win, Australian female tech founders really know what they're doing. They had a very clear overview of the business models, a clear overview of the how to extend their runway. So I think that is such a good sign. And I think it's also a very hard job for us to select the best, the top finalists this year, over 100 applications. So good luck, everyone. Good luck, team. I think you can make it. This is the time for you to showcase your businesses, and this is the time for you to shine. So good luck.
Thank you, Connie, for that. Indeed, right? We are super excited. I know some founders are saying, "Oh, it's like their first in-person pitch." So super excited for that. We'll be hearing from them soon. But first thing first, I would like to invite the amazing supporter of this year's She Loves Australia. We've been generously supported by City of Melbourne. And it is my pleasure to invite Councillor David Crivets to the stage to say a few words and to welcome us to this amazing City of Melbourne.
Thanks, Rani, and it's my pleasure to be here tonight on behalf of the City of Melbourne to say how excited we are that this pitch is happening here. I too would like to commence by saying an acknowledgement of country to the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and any other elders from First Nations who are joining us here tonight. Always important from the City of Melbourne's point of view that we commence with that acknowledgement and continue our work as a local government towards reconciliation, which is a cause that we take very, very seriously. I have to start also with a bit of an apology tonight, which is that much as I would like to stay and hear all of the pitches and hear all of the wise comments from the judges, I have to literally run out the door and go around about 100 metres around the corner into Lygon Street and launch another hybrid pitch competition in literally 10 or 15 minutes, which is our Nexus Nanjing competition, which encourages Australian startups to get involved in China in particular, through Nanjing, and Asia more generally. And what a fantastically exciting thing it is to not just have people back in the flesh in the City of Melbourne, not just have all of the energy and excitement that you bring, but to have 2 startup pitch competitions like that occurring so close to each other in this really dynamic part of our city. I reflect every time that I come here to Melbourne Connect, where I'm lucky to come quite often, just how much the nature of universities and the nature of education and knowledge has changed since I went to university. I like to think that I'm not that old, but in literally the 25 odd years since I first came to university in the mid-90s, the kinds of energy and excitement that we get in places like Melbourne Connect through the ideas and the opportunity to do entrepreneurial ventures, to start out with your own ideas and be guided in those, rather than just sitting in a lecture theatre and hearing speeches from people up the front. It's just so much more dynamic and exciting. And the work that you're all doing here tonight, whether you're from the startups, whether you're the pitchers, whether you're the judges, or whether you're the support team that has made all of this possible, it's so exciting to see such a diverse and excited group of people here tonight I look forward to hearing all of the results, and I'm sure through Connie I will get updates along the way. But to everyone who's put time and energy into getting here tonight, well done, and well done to everyone as you pitch tonight. I hope the excitement overwhelms you all, and you continue your exciting ventures.
Thank you so much, Counselor. And yeah, have fun at the other pitch event then. We'll have fun as well over here. All right, so next up, She Loves Tech wouldn't be here if it weren't for the vision of three co-founders that started it back in 2015 in Beijing, China. That one pitch competition in China that grew to over 70 countries now today after 8 years. So it is my pleasure to invite one of the co-founders that flew in from Singapore to join us today, Leanne Roberts.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Ronnie. It wouldn't be without Ronnie and Connie creating this amazing event. So please let us put our hands together for Connie and Ronnie. Firstly, I want to congratulate the 8 finalists that we have. This year we had over 4,000 applications at She Loves Tech. So well done to the 8 finalists for making it this far. Before the event, I was speaking a little bit to the finalists, and I think everybody had a resounding and challenging time as a female founder. And we were discussing how difficult it is to kind of be a female founder building technologies. And I get it. For me, myself, I had been on the other side. Before She Loves Tech, I had built 3 businesses myself. I had built a real estate and hospitality management company. I had built a fintech company, and then lastly, an art and tech company. So I've been on the other end, and I know how difficult it is to fundraise, how difficult it is to sometimes be the only female founder in a sea of men. And that's the reason why we created She Loves Tech, because we really wanted to reverse that game. We said, you know what? There's so many amazing women building great technologies out there. And we wanted to give all of you a global stage to present and to showcase the amazing technologies, groundbreaking technologies that you are building. So we started She Loves Tech back in 2015, and we did not expect it to grow and to expand this quickly. By 2016, we expanded from 1 country, 1 event. It really was a passion project when we started it. And then it grew to 4 countries, then to 8, then to 16, and fast forward, and right now we are in 72 countries across 6 continents, and it has just been such an amazing journey. We have now become the world's largest startup competition for women in technology, and it has been such a wonderful journey. We could not do this without truly all of you, our community, our judges, our partners, such as the City of Melbourne, and our amazing other partners. As you can see, this year we partnered with the best people. We have Microsoft. We also have UBS and P&G as our platinum partners. And we have Asian Development Bank, who has really been supporting us for the last 4 years. Our whole entire mission at She Loves Tech is to close the funding gap. We want to change the game. All of you know how small the percentage of women founders getting funded, and how the total VC pool goes not a lot to women founders. So we want to change that. And by doing that, we have 4 main things that we do at She Loves Tech to be able to change that. One of it is the startup competition, where all of you are here today. The other one is our education programs, boot camps, which the global finalists will be joining us next week, no, the week after, for our global boot camp. We have workshops, we have mentorship programs, and many, many more. And this was really created because we've had over 10,000 startups come through She Loves Tech in the last couple of years. And we collected data from these 10,000 startups to what are the unique challenges that you'll face. And we want to be able to help you overcome these challenges. So we've created a program that specifically does that. Because we also realize a lot of the entrepreneurship programs, a lot of the leadership programs were designed and based on a male archetype. And we wanted to change that. The third vertical that we do is our big She Loves Tech conference that we'll be doing this year in Singapore and online, but in Singapore on the 10th and 11th. So I invite everybody here, to please join us if you can. We have amazing speakers. Some of our past speakers at She Loves Tech conference include Ariana Huffington. Last year we had Reid Hoffman, we had Maria Ressa, Nobel Peace Prize winner, we've had Jane Sun, CEO of Trip.com, and many, many more. This year we have an amazing lineup as well. We have the Prime Minister of Iceland, we have Rebecca Oppenheimer, and many, many, many more. We have Ravi, who used to be the head of LVMH Asia Pacific. We have people who have exited and selling their companies for almost $1 billion. So please come and join us in Singapore if you can, and if not, please join us online. And then the last piece, aligned with our mission to close the funding gap, is the fund itself, the investment piece. So we are currently building our She Loves Tech fund to do that, which we felt was the missing piece of the puzzle, to fund all of you. And we are still in the midst of fundraising, but we really believe that this is also the future of She Loves Tech. We want to be able to close the funding gap by saying, hey, we are writing the checks ourselves. So in a nutshell, this is She Loves Tech, and Rani is probably giving me very evil eyes because she's like, Leanne, stop talking. Okay, so I'm going to pass it over back to Rani, but thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, judges, for spending your evening here with us.
Right on time. That's more than 5 minutes, but thank you, Leanne. All right, I know we are super excited about the pitches, but also we can get a little warm up and be taken through a little journey. So it is my pleasure to invite Jody Imam to the stage. Jody is many things, but she's definitely a champion. And it is my pleasure to invite her to take us through a little journey through this The Rise of Feminine Leadership keynote. So Jody, take it away.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy about this little juggle. So I'm going to do this without this. Thanks for being here, everyone. Going this way? Yes. So my name's Jody Imam, and I'm going to take you on a little journey. The Rise of Feminine Leadership. On reflection, I had a strong desire as a young girl to leave my not so desirable family life and relished the life skills I learned at Brownies and Girl Guides, and then went on to do a whole lot of different small jobs from the age of 12 until finally at 17 I left to start a university degree, which I also managed multiple jobs to pay for. I did a commerce degree and then followed the path into the corporate world, joining NCR, so National Cash Registers, think ATMs, point of sale machines. It was a great position, and I also managed to convince a VP from the States to get me a position in London where I wanted to go and live. So he found me a position in the sales team there, and I landed there a little bit like a lamb to the slaughter. It was a full male sales team, British men, and the sales manager was not the least bit impressed that he had no say in this decision. Anyway, typical Aussie in London, I worked harder than the whole sales team put together. And there was a female country manager there who trusted me to run a large tender bid for the Royal Bank of Scotland. It was a multi-million-pound contract, which was quite successful. And anyway, I still didn't last more than a year, and actually neither did she. So I came back to Sydney and joined Ericsson. And at the time, it was boom time for Ericsson. They were selling mobile phones like no tomorrow. But yet they made a lot of redundancies, and so I saw a lot of employees that had been there for 30 years suddenly not really know what to do next. And I think that's when the entrepreneurial seed really sunk in for me. I wanted to be able to do my own thing, so I had my financial independence and wasn't reliant on a company for my wage. At that time as well, the women I had to look up to didn't look really much like women. And that was just the time that we were in. You know, they actually dressed a lot like men, and they acted quite aggressively. They didn't support other women either that were in lower ranks, because there just wasn't that many opportunities, so they couldn't. A lot of them forewent motherhood. They worked double time just to be at the equal sort of band as the men. And I just didn't want to be like that. So I ran away to the world of fashion and I joined Leona Redmaston in her second label, which was selling pretty frocks. I was her general manager there for 9 years, and we ended up opening 25 stores around the world and hiring about 100 people before a business idea actually came to me that I could start. So my husband at the time and I had just bought a house in Sydney with pretty much all of our money, yet it still needed a lot of renovating. So we were looking to solve the problem of how do you get small jobs done around the home for not too much money. And that's when we created Occasional Butler. We did it all the wrong way, so we spent a year building out all the tech. We got inspired by TaskRabbit at the time in the US. They had just started, and there was this whole lot of talk about the sharing economy and collaborative consumption, and we thought that's how we want to tackle this problem. So we spent a whole year building out tech, still hadn't talked to one customer. Then we hired a marketing manager with a politics background, and we built a mascot. Here's our mascot, which based on our logo, we thought it was fairly obvious we could have a life-size logo, but it wasn't until we were out in the streets of Melbourne that we realised, and people sort of gave us feedback, that Miles, our mascot, actually just looked like a large tampon. But it didn't stop us. We kept going out all over Melbourne, Brunswick Street Festival. Our logic was that, you know, if we could have a physical presence, it would sort of balance the technology side of what we were doing and build that trust. But yeah, it took months before we got a customer, and then actually took years to finally get onto a growth hack and a flywheel. But 3.5 years later, we got there. We had a really strong community, and we were acquired by Airtasker. At the time as well, growing a marketplace, we didn't realise would take a long time for us actually to bring home a salary. So we thought, you know, what else are we going to do? Again, looking at the US, there was this trend about co-working. So we thought, well, we could do that quite passively and still build the marketplace. So we found this warehouse in Prahran, 2 minutes from where we lived, and Depot 8 was born back in 2012, so one of Melbourne's first co-working spaces. And we've built that and ran that successfully, profitably, and grew it organically to an 80-seat co-working space over 8 years, until March 2020, when we had to make the brutal and quick decision to close it down. As a fully bootstrapped business, we weren't going to be able to sustain it without members. So during this time, it was very difficult to raise money. In fact, I completely failed at that endeavour. And unfortunately, the numbers don't look much better these days. So startups are a key component, as we know, of our economy, but only 22% are founded by women. This is the most recent SBE report that they did with Deloitte. And shockingly, last financial year, only 0.7% of funding went to solely women founders. Yet we know that the economic opportunity is huge, and actually in financial year 21, women-founded businesses contributed $1 billion to our economy and created 4,900 jobs. Citigroup estimated that if we did have gender equality, we'd have a $2.88 trillion growth. That's 2% of global GDP. And we know also that women founders perform better. So the BCG did a report and found that women generated 10% more cumulative revenue over a 5-year period. We also know that women are more likely to give back to their communities with their profits than men. The need for feminine leadership in our world has never been greater. We're literally killing ourselves still, and our planet. I really want to not misquote Claire here. I was very inspired by her words around this topic. One second. Sorry. She says that feminine emotionality has been trashed on this planet. That feminine energy has been repressed, and not just women. It's been considered less than because it's instinctual and intuitive, and that's harder to measure. It's emotional, and that's harder to control. But it's a different kind of strength. It's not the muscle type, but it's a different type of strength. She says, what is stronger? Someone who refuses to feel anything and is violent over the top, or someone who can feel the pain so deeply that she connects with it and gets up and acts. She talks about the patriarchal system and that it's not the masculine, it's actually the shadow masculine. She says only the shadow masculine would stand on the throat of the feminine and consider it healthy. Only the shadow masculine needs to push someone else down in order to feel superior. The healthy masculine is the most exquisite thing and knows that the healthy feminine is the most exquisite thing. It husbands the feminine strength. When sufficient women combine their energy, we will have a different vibration. The time is now more than ever. Women are refusing to be repressed anymore. They're fighting for equality. They're telling us we can run the world. We have so many examples. They're telling us that we can question the institutions and the ideas of things like marriage and patriarchal rules. They're telling us we can lead with our emotionality, and it's strong to lead with vulnerability. They're standing up for safety, respect, and equity. They're showing us that you can start a business that you're passionate about and list it on the stock exchange. Today, I'm very happy being the leader that I want to be as the co-CEO and co-founder of Tractor Ventures, along with my co-founders who are here today, Matt and April. And our wonderfully supportive team. Both the men and women in our team are very supportive of female leadership. At Tractor, we unlock possibilities for founders. So far, we've made over 50 investments in tech startups. In the 22 months that we've been going, we've deployed $20 million. We have 90 investors who've believed in us, and they're mostly founders who want to give back to other founders as well. There's 16 of us, mostly founders and finance executives. And next year, we're working now on launching some sort of women's fund or women's product or something specific that can really help women specifically. These are just some of the women that we've already invested in. I also, since I did the VC Catalyst program at the Wade Institute, I've started doing some angel investing myself through the crowdfunding platforms, through scale investors, and also I'm fortunate enough to know lots of female founders, so directly. I really believe that our ecosystem is where we can start to make this change. What we can do is believe in ourselves. We can stop fearing failure. And one way to do that is to see things as an experiment. You can't fail at an experiment, you can only learn. We can have a voice. We can celebrate each other publicly. And we can call out inequality when we see it. And we can invest in each other. Now with all the crowdfunding platforms and different opportunities, from as little as $50, you can make an investment in a female founder. We can come to great events like this. I truly believe our collective energy here tonight has ripple effects. So thank you for listening and thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, Jody, for that powerful speech. I love how you mentioned about femininity, right? Because that's something that each of us have in our, despite gender. So to embrace that more and that this collective energy definitely has ripple effect. All right, so we are there. It's time for us to move on, right, to the pitch competition, the main agenda of today. So we are delighted to be joined by our all-stars panel of judges. So judges, it is my pleasure to introduce you. When I call your name, please just say hi to the audience over here. So we have Ada Yin, investor of R3 Ventures. We have Jethro Cohen, investor of Sparkback Capital. Of course, Jody is also sitting on the judging panel. Jody, Megan Wolf, head of founders at StartMate, and Nicole Marino, investor at Blackbird Ventures. 5 judges here today will be judging our startups based on these criteria: market opportunity, team, innovation and product, traction, as well as potential for growth and scalability. And may I remind you again, today we'll be hearing 5-minute speech followed by 3 minutes Q&A. All right, so stretch your back, take a deep breath. Yay! Can we just lay it out? Woo! Woo! All right. So these are the 8 finalists pitching today. And first up, it is my pleasure to invite Avert AI with Chanel to the stage.
Hi everyone. Avert AI is a B2B SaaS regtech empowering employees to write compliant communications with AI. Our founder fit problem comes from our domain expertise with data privacy and compliance breaches. I was a key part of Australia's second largest penalty under consumer law of $50 million on a compliance breach. Our CTO, Javed, is a veteran tech leader from the financial services sector, specializing in building data privacy and compliance solutions with AI. Our COO, Phil, has first-hand experienced compliance breaches working on billion-dollar M&A deals at an enterprise level at Fortune 500s. Our experience and conviction will enable us to build a proprietary data privacy and compliance dataset that doesn't exist in open source and cement our unique advantage. Now, 90% of data breaches are caused by human error. Training is not retained, and employees are reliant on manual practices and processes. Let me step you through a human error data breach. This is from a real-world use case. Here, an employee has written an email to a customer and has requested and received medical records that were too broad and unrelated to a diagnosis to assess an illness insurance claim. This led to penalties, compensation, and reputational damage. But what if this employee was assisted in real time to send compliant communications, providing a safeguard for themselves and their organization? Our writing assistant is like Grammarly for compliance. We basically proofread any text in real time across email, documents, and chat. We detect any potential breaches, alert the user, and provide a rephrasing recommendation in real time to prevent a breach. The benefits of safeguarding employee communication are worker augmentation, increased productivity, reduced risks and costs, and improved customer experience. Embedded into today's most popular productivity tools, our tool is cloud native and can be integrated frictionlessly, and it can be deployed behind firewalls to ensure all assets remain inside an organization's environment, which is critical to our customers. So why now? The environment is becoming more difficult than ever. Compliance costs and penalties are increasing, so solutions aren't suffice. And regulators are applying pressure on organizations all over the world. And the compliance market is worth $67 billion. For us to achieve 100 million ARR, we only need to capture 0.2% of this market. We have a freemium pay-per-user B2B SaaS model. This is a cost-effective solution to a governance-heavy sector. We have gone to market with our MVP, a conversational AI, which is a data privacy chatbot that we have been growth hacking in Slack communities to test and reach early customers. So over the next 18 months, we will capture 2,000 users to reach 1 million ARR. So the competition in this space is primarily made up of big tech companies like Microsoft, AWS, OneTrust. They're governance and infrastructure heavy solutions. We plan to carve out white space with a product-led approach. We have demonstrated early stage traction. We have raised pre-seed with Antler VC. We are doing beta testing. We have built our proprietary prototype of the writing assistant, and we have secured early customers, such as Australia's leading mortgage broker, Uno Home Loans. Now, our vision is to transform employees into compliance-informed specialists. Furthermore, we want to transform the way organisations communicate entirely. We are raising a safe note round of $500,000 to $1 million. With that, we can launch our hero product, the writing assistant, and secure our first key hires. Thank you.
All right, sorry. That's under 5 minutes, so yay, on time. That's the first challenge. Okay, judges, the floor is yours. We have 3 minutes for Q&A. I believe that should suffice for 2 questions. If you have any question, please raise your physical hand, right? So I can moderate. Yes, Megan.
I'll ask a question. Is this on? Can you hear me? Can you tell me what insights you've gathered from your early beta customers? Is there any single thing surprising or different than what you expected?
Yeah, even we've talked to customers from startups, scale-ups, SMEs, enterprise. We've talked to a big enterprise company that is very well known. They spend millions of dollars every year on this problem, building their own internal solutions and working with external vendors, and they're still having this issue happen. And each time it happens, they have to go to their internal legal team to do an incident report. So again, the additional costs build up. So we've learnt that it is at every level on a smaller scale with a startup, scale up, on the CEO, founder level. They've literally said the words to us, this is a problem that keeps us awake at night. And it's not that they don't trust their employees, it's just as you start to grow, you lose oversight, people are distracted, busy, make mistakes. So yeah, what's great about our tool is it can work in silo to solve different use cases across departments within an organisation as they grow or at an enterprise level. So we've been able to build the tool in that way to tackle all those different issues.
So I saw you have the conversation AI and then you have the Grammarly. Could you talk a bit more about how those different products work and what that relationship is?
Sure. So what we learned is one of the biggest reasons this problem is happening is because there's a knowledge gap. So employees aren't really utilising their internal policies. Regulation is difficult to interpret and then to implement. And compliance teams are kind of busy answering kind of repetitive questions from employees. So that's where the conversational AI comes in, is to solve that knowledge gap, but also provide value and stickiness in that sense. But it allows us to create a data network feedback loop to build the data. We need to detect the problem with the Grammarly tool. So if we know what the knowledge gaps are, we know where our tool needs to work harder and better to detect the mistakes when they happen. And hopefully less mistakes are happening because of the conversational AI as well, because we're educating people at the same time. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So that's 5-minute pitch and 3 minutes Q&A. Yay, one down. We have 7 more to go. Super exciting. Next up, we have Flow of Work Co. with Helena. Yay, Helena, the floor is yours.
Thank you. All right. Well, hi everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm Helena and I'm the CEO and co-founder of an HR tech business called Flow of Work Co. And we help companies develop and retain their best talent. Well, before I made the leap into startup life, back in the days when I had a salary, I used to run HR, tech and innovation functions for large corporates. And one of the last projects I worked on in my big corporate job was looking at employee turnover. And I learned a horrifying fact. It costs up to $64,000 to lose someone that you regret to lose, which means this is a $20 million problem for any mid-sized organisation. Right now we're facing global skills shortages, a lack of migration and low unemployment, making employee turnover a really top concern for business leaders globally. And so what's the root cause of this problem? Well, it actually might surprise you to learn that it's not money that has people leave their companies, it's actually lack of career progression. Most of us will have experienced the difficulty in navigating what skills and experiences do I need to progress my career, and COVID's only made that worse. And whilst this isn't strictly speaking a gendered problem, research shows it impacts women differently. We're less likely to put our hands up for internal opportunities unless we believe we meet all of the criteria, and we're less likely to have the internal networks and sponsors to help us progress in our career. All of this results in us earning up to 40% less than our male counterparts. And with traditional avenues to just buy new talent off the shelf being no longer affordable or sustainable, it got us thinking, what if there was a way we could design a solution that aligned the incentives of both the organisation and the employee? And so we enable people to achieve their career goals within their organisation without having to look outside of it. Flow of Work is an internal talent marketplace and career development tool. We found it so frustrating that HR teams had better data and insights on the external market than their own people. We created Talent Scout. What this does is bring together all of your multiple sources of people data. It uses third-party data as well, and we x-ray that for skills and experiences, meaning you get rapid insights on the talented people you already have, and you can headhunt internally. Next up, Talent Navigator allows employees to validate their skills and articulate their career goals. And using this data, our algorithms predict potential internal career pathways and the skills needed to get there. And finally, after having identified those skills gaps, it's time to close them. We bring together all internal available opportunities, things like learning, projects, gigs, mentorship, and jobs in a single seamless view, tailored to the individual employee's goals. Think Netflix for your career. The market here is huge. I mean, who doesn't want to develop and retain their people, right? We're playing in an $8 billion market, and even if we just zoom into ANZ, small parts of the EU and the US, the potential for us to grow is huge. And whilst we're not the only player in the market, we believe our rapid time to value, our focus on the mid-market where there's relatively little competition, and huge employee centricity sets us apart from the rest. We spent a lot of time before building a scrap of tech, using behavioural design and design thinking techniques to make sure that our solution is built for the user, by the user. We're currently focusing on companies in ANZ with between 750 and 5,000 employees that show high digital intent to solve problems like internal mobility and retention. We're reaching these through direct outreach, digital marketing, referrals, events, and we've got some great early channel partners in the space. Our business model is a per employee per month basis, but we also offer an insight suite at an affordable fee. And we believe our advantage here is our rapid time to value and a competitive price point. Nick and I co-founded the team after working together in a large global HR services company where we implemented and integrated HR tech for the APAC region of our company. And we're now supported by the best internal and advisory team with skills in behavioural science, innovation, AI, HR, and people analytics. Since we launched our MVP in October last year, I'm pleased to say that we've won 7 paying customers with a combined employee base of about 20,000 people. We've won HR Tech Awards both locally and globally, secured a place on EY's Foundry, but most importantly, we built a solution that employees love, and we're on track to hit close to $500,000 of revenue this year. And with a healthy contract value and a good sales pipeline, we're on track to hit $1 million plus next year, putting us in a really good position for our Series A. We are currently raising our seed round, which we'll use to invest in increasing our sales and marketing capabilities, accelerating key product features, and getting ourselves ready to launch in the US. Thanks so much for this amazing opportunity to pitch, and I'm looking forward to some questions. Oh, I don't know, we'll see.
I'll ask a question. Thanks so much, Helena. That was wonderful. Just to help my understanding a little bit, could you talk to more about how you're measuring talent internally? So would it be from the employee side or from the managers, and what measures are you using?
We do a bit of everything. One of the things that we learnt from our past lives is, although there's some tech out there to measure skills and things, no one's going to go in and think on a Wednesday, let me go and enter all my details conveniently for HR. So one of the first things we built when we took, we decided where should we start our two-sided marketplace, supply side or demand side. We decided that least was known about the employee, so we'd focus there. We've built the capability to ingest all different sources of HR data and automatically enrich it. So we use market data to predict and infer employee skills. That means without any employee intervention, we give you a pretty accurate skills inventory, which we give back to the organisation in a searchable fashion with insights. So that's the first piece. It obviously gets better if employees come into the mix. So they come in and they tell us what their skills are, what the skills are they would love to learn, what career pathways they would like to follow. And we've just launched a new coaching feature that helps people have coaching one-on-ones if they have an internal coaching or mentorship program, so that they can get feedback from managers and peers about where they'd like to develop. So it's a bit of a mixture. When we go live with a project marketplace before Christmas, there'll be a feedback loop as well. So if you partake in a project, and let's say it was digital marketing, and you build some skills, the project owner will be able to close that feedback loop and give you some feedback. So it's sort of 360, I'd say, is the way that we're thinking about how skills are validated, if that makes sense. Thank you.
I think one of the things I've noticed about players in this space is that when they're selling to organisations, they often find themselves responding to tenders, and part of that process is kind of customising the product around the client. I'd just love to hear a little bit how you think about sort of bespoke solutions that you'll create for enterprise versus a more out-of-the-box go-to-market.
So right now, whilst we're still in build, it's a great opportunity for people to co-create with us. We are careful not to be a custom dev shop and make sure that there's enough critical mass with customers that with everything we build, we can sell over and over again. We are able to customize certain elements of the feature fairly effortlessly. So if you want to have your brand inside the platform, or if you want to call your department or division something, we can customize elements of it. But we are looking at ways to make sure that we are completely scalable, because one of the key risk factors, I think, for us as we grow and scale is making sure that we can grow efficiently and scalably. So whilst we're still in build, there's the opportunity to co-create, but that will settle down over the course of time. Thank you.
You talked about how you've got your first key customers on board, which is very exciting. Well done. How did you go about finding those customers, and what were those initial conversations like, the kind of the discovery phase?
Our first customer came from Facebook. We entered into a conversation in an HR platform, like a forum, if that makes sense. So it was an American customer, actually. It was a total accident. And we pitched to them using Figma screens. It was the most cringy. I could have died, because they're asking questions like, can the system do this? And we're like, yes, it can. So that's how we acquired our first customer. We were transparent. They were actually one of the first customers of Culture Amp as well, so they were fine with startups. So that's how we got our very first customer. Subsequent customers have been through our network, the network of our investors, but we just started ramping up our digital marketing capability. So we're using tools like Zoom Info for intent-based marketing. We're increasing our presence at events, and we're starting to think about how we really scale that. My first hire, if I can close this round successfully, will be a head of sales.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we are on to the third. Next up, we have Health Bank with Frankie. Frankie, the floor is yours. Tell us more about Health Bank.
At HealthBank, our mission is to bring data and science to the wellness industry. My name is Frankie, and I'm one of the co-founders and directors at HealthBank. So we've got a problem with the wellness industry. It's not working. Australians are getting sicker every year, with almost half of us suffering from one or more chronic illnesses today. The fundamental issue is that the industry is very fragmented with very low connectivity. Individual solutions do not have a full picture of your health. For example, my wearable doesn't know that I have low iron, and that's why I'm permanently exhausted, and I'm never going to hit my step goal no matter how many times they nudge me. A lot of the advice is also really generic, and that's because it's been designed to be safe and scalable for a mass market. The other thing is that patients are not receiving the support that they need for sustained behaviour change. The research tells us that sustained behaviour change requires patients to get human support and also to be involved in the decision-making in their health plans. So HealthBank is going to fix this. Step 1, we aggregate and generate all of your health data in one place. Step 2, we use our machine learning algorithms to find the practitioner who is specialised in delivering the treatment that best fits your unique needs. Step 3, we surface diagnostic recommendations, which are validated by your practitioner, for them to then go and formulate a scientific and personalised treatment for you. And finally, we support. We've built tools for our practitioners that automate their admin and data analytics, which allow them to spend twice as much time with their patients to give them support. HealthBank's treatments are designed to be quantifiable and effective. We take your connected data in our tracking phase, and we distill it down into simple metrics and actionable recommendations. In our treatment phase, we give the practitioner and the patient full visibility over their treatment. This means that they know exactly what they need to do, importantly, why they're doing it, and also what they need to do next. We've also built efficacy into the core of our treatment delivery. We do this by surfacing an adherence score, which tracks your adherence across multiple dimensions. And we also track your symptoms as well as regularly testing your biomarkers. And finally, we support. The practitioner and the patient work collaboratively to make sure that their treatment is optimised for success. And the patient can also reach out to their practitioner anytime they like via in-app messages, telehealth, or in clinic. So where are we now? We've built our base infrastructure and we've launched our V1 product. We've had great feedback from our group of beta users, and we've also implemented the best data security and role permission controls. Now we're in a good place to start to scale. In about 8 weeks, we're going to launch our enhanced patient app. Super exciting. And we've lined up a great suite of partners who are helping us promote and develop our product. See partners. We know it's a really crowded health marketplace out there, and a lot of these solutions offer really great results in their niches, but HealthBank is uniquely positioned to offer the completeness, the true personalisation, and the sustainable behaviour change that patients really need. We're going after a really big market. Australia is the 10th biggest spender globally on wellness, and when you account for per capita, we're actually the 6th biggest spender. Australians spend about $90 billion a year, or do $90 billion a year, on things like healthy eating, physical activity, and complementary medicines. But where we're starting small with the people who are most in need. These are people who are living with a chronic illness. They're often over-medicated. They sometimes are under or misdiagnosed. And there's a cohort of people who are actively trying to health hack and improve their health on a daily basis. This group spends $5.2 billion annually on supplements, appointments, and pathology testing. And we have the very best team to do it. We are passionate leaders in our fields who have invested our own money and are working for equity. As a team, we know that we have a great product and we know that it'll be profitable. But what this is really about is giving everybody the tools that they need to live a healthy life. Health is one of the fundamental aspects of human thriving, and it shouldn't be allocated by the birth lottery or influenced by the pharmaceutical lobby or held back by slow-moving governments. Thank you so much for your time.
I'm curious about understanding more how you're going to persuade like all your customers to share this data. Like we saw with My Health Record, people can sometimes be a bit hesitant with, especially their personal health. So very curious about like, you know, how you're approaching it and like how you're doing it in like a scalable way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fantastic question. I've always worked in consumer-facing big data companies, and this is something that I'm really close to. So what we've built into the platform is full control over where and who you share your data with. And you own your health record. So you basically store it in your own secure health bank app, and then you can share it as and when you want to with the practitioner of your choosing. So that means you can also recall any of the data that you've ever shared at any time. We've also built in like incredible security. So we're doing symmetrical server encryption, which basically means that not only is the server fully encrypted, but every single query to the server is encrypted. So your data is really under lock and key. And we think the experience will make people give us their data. You literally tap to connect your wearable, and we give you a health report. So it's really the experience.
You had a fantastic list of partners out there, very exciting. How did you go about sourcing those partners? And you said that they're going to help you distribute to their networks as well. Yeah, how did you get all those partners on board?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very lucky to have, one of my co-founders is a clinical dietitian, so he has fantastic relationships in the dietetics world. So he brought a lot of them on board with the story, and they're super excited. Since then, we've been speaking a lot with particularly pathology companies, because we think that people should be getting tested way more regularly. And we have over 600 different types of functional tests in our catalogue. So they test like your microbiome and your allergies, and I recently had my genetics done, which was really cool. So they're really interested in understanding how they have like a B2C market, because at the moment they're really getting referred to by doctors and things and specialists. But yeah, we want to really bring them front and center into our platform and make sure that customers understand that testing is available and why it's beneficial. Sydney Uni, I mean, they're on our advisory board, Adam Dunn, and he's just super excited about the research opportunities. So of course we're going to be fully, opt-in. If somebody wants to be involved in a research study, they need to opt in themselves, and they may even be remunerated for participating. But the exciting thing for him is to have like community monitoring data before people reach the public health system, which has been notoriously missing.
I'd just love to understand who pays. Is this a consumer pay product? Is this somehow rebatable on Medicare? I'd sort of love to hear the kind of strategy around who pays for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the patient is the payer, and that is the case with Allied Health. It's one of the reasons that we started with Allied Health. We definitely want to start having a crack at the medical industry as well. But because the patient is the payer, they get to choose the experience that they want and where they want to put their money. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Great.
All right. Thank you. All right. Next up, for the fourth pitch, we're actually going to play a video. Next up is Lockpick Games. Tash, the founder, is currently in South Korea, so she can't fly in. So we'll play a video of her pitching for 5 minutes. And later on, the Q&A will be taken by Cynthia Lee, the product manager of Lockpick Games.
This is my stepson Drake. Soon he's taking the New South Wales Selective High School exam. and he does not want to study for it. And look, it's no surprise why. This is one of the practice questions from his exam. Are you ready? Can't figure it out? Well, neither can most adults, including myself. And that's why so many parents are spending extra money on tutoring, with the global tutoring market expected to be about $201 billion by 2026. And even while paying all that, the experience for many students with cram schools or private tutoring is that it can be stressful, boring, or even demotivating. Look, when Drake had his first tutoring session, the very first thing the tutor had him do was take a mock exam. But let's get real. What young person is going to be inspired and motivated about taking their upcoming exam when this is the very first introduction to that learning process? But do you know when my Drake is focused and motivated? When he's playing video games. So we took a video game, combined it with standardized test prep to create lockpick games and unlock the potential in students like Drake. We make epic role-playing games, similar to Pokemon or Final Fantasy. But to defeat the monsters with your magic, you have to answer correctly one question from your upcoming test. We have harnessed the power of video games to improve the learning process. On a practice test, questions are just right or wrong, and you don't get any feedback until after your exam has been marked. But video games, they encourage students to try and try again and give instantaneous feedback on their performance. And this creates resilient and intrinsically motivated learners. Students normally sit stressful mock exams to assess their strengths and weaknesses. But our games do the exact same thing as a mock exam, just better. We remove the stress and make exam assessment fun, positively changing the relationship that that student has with the subject matter and the exam itself. Students can also see how they're performing in real time by accessing their personalised study dashboard. Earlier this year, we launched our first beta product for the New South Wales Selective High School exam. Over 260 kids played, answering over 4,000 questions with $0 spent on marketing. Some users were spending over 1 hour a week using Marble Mansion and were self-motivated to complete over 3 practice exams worth of content in under 1 month. And we found that our platform was a perfect complement to students who already had a study routine with a tutor. One parent told us that this was the very first time their daughter was actually excited to do tutoring because it was connected to the fun of the game. Taking what we learnt from our first beta launch in New South Wales, we're now focusing on the much larger East Asian education market. We've already formed a partnership with student organisation Isaac Korea to see how their participants' marks increase over time while using Marble Mansion. And we're also running our very first B2B pilot with American tutoring startup Now to empower their students to study outside of their one-on-one weekly classes. Customizing games for other test markets is quick and easy for us. Brand new test content can be customized into our games simply by getting a practice exam, formatting it into an Excel sheet, and then uploading onto our platform. Over just the next 3 years, we want to focus on these 4 tests, which are taken by 7.3 million students every year. And while there are great educational adventure games out there, their platforms aren't fully customizable to the content that they teach. And sure, you can find plenty of practice questions online or in a textbook for almost any exam, but the process is going to be outdated and boring. And our products really support all people in the lives of an aspiring student. Students and parents can access fun and self-paced ways to prepare before an upcoming test. Tutoring companies can scale their operations and provide better student support before upcoming exams. And finally, teachers and classrooms will be enabled to set test revisions that their students will actually do and save them time on marking papers and preparing revision content. Our team is made up of myself, Tash. I have over a decade of experience in government and higher education. We've got Jeff, who used to be the head of growth for a $4.5 billion edtech company. Cynthia, who's a researcher and educator, knowledgeable for using edtech platforms in student outcomes. Isabella, who's previously released over 10 indie games already. And finally, Drake, who does all of our game quality assurance. We've been backed by some of the best accelerated programs in the region, and our angel investors and mentors are all top executives in higher education and edtech startups. If you want to help us on our mission to turn young people's love of video games into better educational outcomes, you can help us out by telling students, parents, tutors, and teachers about our platform, and by making warm introductions to edtech investors, especially those with a global footprint. And join us in helping unlock opportunities for students everywhere.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, I'm Cynthia. I'm the product manager at Lockpick Games.
Hi, I have a question. That was really good to
Thank
Tash.
you.
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes. Tash is watching from live stream right now.
Great. I'm wondering around the time pressure that comes with standardized tests. So how are you thinking about teaching that via the game environment?
Yep. So that was definitely one of the features that we are integrating into our gameplay. So the general user experience is following the storyline of a new student at Marblehead School of Magic. And throughout the gameplay itself, you'll be coming across quests and turn-based strategy gameplay where you'll be also experiencing mock exam type environments in the game itself. So this will be what slowly prepares our students for actually building that comfort and also confidence when it comes to real exam sitting.
Thanks so much. As a mum of three, I love this. This is what I
Thank you.
need. I'm curious, just with the kind of approach, it sounds like you're sort of going from day one global. Like, what's the actual go-to-market plan as far as getting this sold into multiple markets at the same time?
Yep. So to address the first thing, we did not go global first of all. So we first of all actually started in New South Wales, and we were targeting the New South Wales selective high school placement test. Except we felt, even though it was a great first beta launch for New South Wales, we were trying to expand globally by trying to target a larger market that had a stronger focus on standardized exams, which was why we chose South Korea. But our go-to-market strategy in the long run is a strategy that we found works for the beta launch and is also currently working in the lead up to our next beta launch for our TOEIC products as well, which is by directly communicating with online communities of parents and students who are already having doubts when it comes to the traditional education system and standardized exams, but also are looking for alternative resources that are beyond the traditional textbooks, practice mock exams as well, and promoting our product to them. And the general culture amongst these online communities is that they are very open and supportive with sharing these resources, and through word of mouth and referrals, that's how we create growth loops in order to scale our business in the long run. And that's the strategy we intend to continue on in the long run. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
One more quick question. So you said that you can upload a new test just via like turning it into an Excel sheet. How do you then teach the student how to answer the type of question as opposed to just the question? Does that make sense? So it's like, are they just giving you questions, or are they also teaching you how to solve it in an abstract way?
Right. I understand your question now. Thank you. Yeah, so through... a bit too close. Throughout the gameplay itself, so other than immersion and exposure to the different types of tests, we are also building the feature of hints and tutorial videos as well to teach the students how to solve these kind of questions or things to consider when it comes to answering these questions. And we're also trying to build a live tutor function as well, where they can also directly ask professional tutors how to go through these kind of exams as well. No worries. Thank you.
All right. Halfway to go. That's 4 startups. Now we are going with the 5th startup of the day, Simply Zebra with Trina. Woo!
Hi, good evening. Welcome to Simply Zebra. I'm Trina, if it wasn't obvious from the shirt. I am the co-founder of Simply Zebra. Managing your money shouldn't be this hard. As a user, I know all too well the time and cost to manage multiple different cards and accounts just to stay on top of my finances. People want an easier way to control their income, their spending, and their investments. Our money has become disconnected and fragmented. The average 30-year-old uses at least 12 different financial instruments, and a new banking product launches every 4 days. Fintech has always been about building solutions in silos. Last month, I tried to sign up to a new credit card with a bank I've been with for 10 years. It took me at least 12 hours to find the right card for my situation, and I wasn't even comparing against other providers. We aren't being treated like real and unique people, and I'm sure we can all agree that dealing with money gets thrown in the too hard basket. That's where we come in. Simply Zebra is a smart digital wallet that makes finance simple. We aggregate all your financial products into one platform to give you greater control, visibility, and value. We issue you with a digital card that routes every payment to the best funding source, whether it be to maximise points and cashback or to minimise interest. It's all based on your need. We then provide tailored and actionable recommendations to help you get the most out of your money. Our vision is to become the financial super app. As much as Spotify and Amazon did not build a better Sony Music or Walmart, the convergence of money services is not a better bank. The future is Simply Zebra, an over-the-top distribution layer connecting users' money into one access point. We treat every customer as unique, like the stripes on a zebra. We automate spending and saving decisions using your data to help drive the best financial outcomes for you. The time for a solution is right now. Open banking launched in Australia just last year. Consumers now own their financial data and can share this financial data. It's their right to share this financial data with third parties. In addition to that, the new payments platform allows us to move money around in real time. Our solution was not possible to build prior to these initiatives. Secondly, there is regulatory pressure to open up the payment space and encourage competition following 76 recommendations from the Royal Banking Commission. Thirdly, the emergence and adoption of fintechs means consumers are looking for more utility, choice, and a better experience. Our target market are Gen Z and millennials in Australia, parts of Asia, and the US. They are time-poor, tech-savvy professionals looking for simpler solutions. This audience is driving massive changes in the payments industry and presents a really big opportunity for us. Digital wallet usage now accounts for 50% of all e-commerce transactions worldwide, and consumer finance is becoming increasingly digitised, with 77% of our target market exclusively using mobile apps to manage their money. Our biggest competitor is based in the UK and is moving to the US with a BNPL product. The wallets don't provide the smarts and restrict users to their ecosystem. Personal finance management apps give generic advice and lack engagement. Simply Zebra has first mover advantage, and we're in prime position to build a new category. This is our revenue mix. We take an interchange fee on every single transaction. This is already part of the merchant fee, and there's no additional cost to the customer for this. We have a product referral system when we switch customers over to different financial providers. We also have a freemium model or a tiered subscription model where the basic version of our product is free to download and additional features are available with a recurring monthly fee. Over the past year, we've integrated open banking with a trusted multinational provider and launched our MVP to a select group of users. We are building the first and most complete financial data repository in Australia. We've collected, cleansed, and categorised over 700,000 data points to build our optimisation model. We've signed up 3,000 customers to our waitlist and locked in 2 distribution partnerships, which will allow us to grow at scale while offering the same value proposition to the end customer. My co-founder, Elliot, was a director at Stake and has spent the last 4 years in the payments industry. He's also the founder of Vocard, an innovative US dollar banking card in Latin America, which he launched in a highly regulated but emerging market. He also has 20 years of software development experience. And I'm Trina. I'm ex-Citigroup, ex-Rocket Internet, and more recently was a strategy consultant specialising in intellectual property. I have a design thinking background and will be connecting people with our product. We also have a data scientist, a lead developer, and an advisor who's launched 5 successful fintechs over the past 20 years. We're here to take the grey out of finance and make it black and white. Smarter finance is Simply Zebra. Thank you.
I just sort of love to understand the kind of work you need to do with banks and card issuers to integrate some of the point schemes and some of the other loyalty plays that you described into the app. Like, I understand the sort of account-to-account payment would be quite easy with open banking, but when it comes to actually working with kind of card issuers and banks, just love to understand how much and how you work with them.
So thanks to open banking and the progression of CDR, the only partnerships we do need is an open banking provider and being an authorised rep of the CDR. So as long as we have the approval from our customer who's adding all their accounts, we don't actually need to work with the banks. And as you said, with the card issuer, we are working with a company to give us access to various payment rails.
And so does that mean that 0.2%, is that on top of the card issuer's fee, or is that in lieu of the sort of margin a card issuer would take?
The card issuer takes, so say the merchant fee is 1%, the card issuer will take a portion of that, we take 0.2%. So 0.2% is the net that we take, and we give a portion of that to the card issuer or the scheme.
So in your discussions with customers, what do you think is the biggest customer value proposition of Simply Zebra?
I would say taking the decision making out for them and saving them the hassle and the time for them to know that they're using the right card for every transaction. For example, if you're at a Woolworths or you're at a BP, often credit cards have merchant offers and you're not aware of them unless you've gone and checked. So for them, it's knowing that we are picking the best card for that transaction, getting them the most rewards points without them having to do a thing. And we actually have the ability for you to switch the card you paid with if you don't like a decision we've made or if you think we've made a mistake. So we've got that safety net as well. But definitely taking the decision making and time away from them.
Can you just talk a little bit about the breakdown of your projected or expected revenue from fees versus subscription from your users?
Sure. So the interchange fee I mentioned, in Australia it is very low because it is very, very regulated. As we move into different markets in Asia, it can be up to 1%, and in the USA it's 3%. So I guess it depends on what market you're in. In Australia it will be very low. With our subscription model, we've done some research as to how many of our customers, how many of our target market would actually pay a $5 to $7 fee. And they've basically said, as long as you can give me an instant confirmation that you're saving me at least $100, we're happy to pay that monthly fee.
And can you give them that confirmation?
Yep, so that's where our data optimization model is in play at the moment. We are very heavily focused on that. We want to be able to have you add in all your accounts and instantly be able to give you an insight that says, hey, based on your 2 years worth of transaction data, which we do get through open banking, you would have saved X amount, or you could have had a return flight to Bali if you had used this credit card instead, or if you invested in this account instead based on your mix of trades. So that's what we're working on right now, being able to give that instant value.
All right. We've heard from RegTech, we've heard from HR Tech, Health Tech, FinTech. Next up, we're gonna hear from Sabandil, a SaaS e-commerce platform with Jess. Jess, you're super ready. Yes.
Yes. Good evening, guys. Sabundle, a subscription management and billing SaaS platform accelerating e-commerce by making tailored subscription models accessible to all of e-commerce. I'm Jess Wright, and I was fed up with the poor experience on subscriptions for consumers, and so are retailers. I am a second-time founder with over 13 years global experience building and scaling high-growth startups from concept to profitability. I've worn all the hats that there are in startups, from ideation, strategy, to execution and selling, to building teams, partnerships, and ecosystems. E-commerce is a $27 trillion industry that's being underserved. It's using software not fit for purpose, built for SaaS and billing. It's limiting their growth. Consumers' expectations have changed. We want convenience and personalisation. Deliveries to door accelerated out of necessity with COVID-19. Shops were closed, supermarkets were hotspots. And along with this, there's been a consumer culture shift with on-demand music, TV, and films. And we want the same with our consumable goods. Every consumer wants something different. The one-size-fits-all in subscriptions is constraining e-commerce. It doesn't work for retailers' business model, consumers, or products. There's no ability to personalise for consumers. Subscriptions are not meeting their expectations. 1.5 million retailers globally sell multiple products that need regular replenishment to customers with different needs. Existing software only focuses on billing. It's good for one simple recurring product, but constrains the complexities of e-commerce. It's not meeting retailers or consumers' expectations or needs. A tailored subscription model and a personalised consumer experience have been proven to work by Pet Circle, Marley Spoon, and HelloFresh. But this came at a high cost of shift of focus and resources for these businesses, which most companies can't afford to do. Subundle empowers all e-commerce businesses to accelerate their recurring revenue with a personalised consumer experience and a tailored subscription model. Subundle empowers the creation and management of a tailored subscription model unique to each retailer. Purpose-built for e-commerce, it provides complete control and flexibility to retailers and consumers, enabling seamless product bundling and subscription management controls. Teamed alongside smart billing functionality by accelerating recurring revenue, by aggregating all of the product payments and then dividing them into one manageable recurring payment at the consumer's chosen frequency. This functionality, teamed with Subundle's intelligent data system, enables cross-selling and upselling effectively and aids strategic marketing with the extensive data on hand that retailers have of their consumers and products. Our pricing is straightforward, 1% of transaction, which reduces the friction for onboarding. It aligns us with our customers. We're as invested in them in their subscription model, which they love. There's no need for a free trial or a freemium product. With exponential growth over the past 5 years, global e-commerce will be worth over $1 trillion. Our revenue model is 1% of GMV. The TAM is $10 billion. As a global business, our SOM will be 140 million in 2027. Our target customers are a broad base of 1.5 million e-commerce businesses globally that sell direct to consumer, that span diverse industries from pet care to cosmetics to cleaning products, beverages, food and meal kits. We've had fantastic traction with no marketing spend, demonstrating the widespread problem in e-commerce, that no software is fitting their needs. That's where Subundle comes in. Consumers' expectations have changed. They want personalisation and convenience, the acceleration of deliveries to door, and the culture shift to items on demand. 18% of credit card spend globally, $41 trillion, is on subscriptions, and that's rapidly growing. Consumers' expectations have changed, so should their subscription experience. I'm Jess Wright, the founder of Subundle, making tailored subscription models accessible for all of e-commerce.
Hi, I would love to understand like what the current customer journey is when they're on an e-commerce site, and then what it looks like with Subundle, and what these personalizations you're talking about, and these these opportunities that are unlocked with the technology and the platform.
Yeah, no worries. Oh no. So this is what it looks like before Subundle. Okay, so you've got a retailer has to use multiple systems, so they have a full tech stack, but they have to plug in everything. And this is for someone it's not working for them. Okay, this is a really straightforward business that sells multiple household products. So what Subundle does is it comes in and it fits in with the stack deck so that we can work with people who have already got a stack full of things, and we can come in and help them with their assistance. We can also enable them to just use the bundle. So what we've done is we started off with our pilot, which we worked with said customer here and a number of others to build out a platform that worked for them fully. And then what we found from working really closely with those 3 customers was that actually you've got the bigger end of town really desperately need this, and they're really feeling the pain point. And we were getting referrals from them, and they kind of came to us and were like, please help us. It's not working. We need help. And then what happened was we were like, right, okay, we need an API product, and we need to fit into that tech stack. And that's what we're now building. Hello, Jeffro.
Hey, I guess, 1% of GMV is not a huge amount when you're $1 million a year business, but by the time you're a $100 million a year business, it starts to look like a really big line item on your P&L. I'd sort of love to understand how you think about that graduation churn problem. Does a business get big enough to the point where they go, actually, you know what, we're just going to do this ourselves now?
No, that's not the way retail works. They all do this. So they all use a multiple of softwares to be able to run their business. They focus on what they do best. So Pet Circle, Marley Spoon and HelloFresh are really rare. And if you speak to any of them, there's so much information out there where they're like, this was an absolute mess. It cost us so much time. We don't want to do this. Like, they had to shift their whole business to being a tech company. And so they want to use software that's already out there. We've spoken to so many people who've just come to us and said, please sort this out for us. All we want is our customers to have multiple products on whatever frequency they want. And apparently that's really hard. It's a bundle. You love the one more question.
How do you get in front of these customers? Like, is it a sales team? How do you do that?
Currently it's me. So currently we are just getting sign-ups through our website. So people are just coming up and saying, adding to that list and saying, we want to talk to you. We're also getting people that we've worked with referring us, and people who we've spoken to saying, they're sorting out our problem. And investors as well are passing us on going, I've got a company I'm invested in that really needs your product. Go talk to them now. So that's how it's all coming through.
And at scale, how does it work?
At scale, so it will be the classics. So obviously it will be, we're still obviously at the boots of the ground with the founder, but it will be, your education, your SEO, your kind of and signing up and things like that. So obviously we'll have that go-to-market strategy. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Jess. We are on to the 7th startup. Round of applause for making it this far, everyone. Next up, we have Nicole, who will be pitching Travis to us. Here you go, Nicole.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicole. I'm co-founder of Travis. We are pioneering creator-led commerce in the $800 billion online travel industry. And our mission is to empower a new generation of creators to earn through travel. Yes, that could be any one of you. Now, creators are already changing not just how we discover, but also how we plan and how we book our travels today. Their content feels relevant and it helps us make real-world decisions on how we explore our world and where we spend our money. Micro creators in particular, those under 100K in followers, are the biggest and fastest growing segment today. But they are also the biggest segment who face the highest barriers in earning a recurring income. We know this ourselves. We are ex-creators. I have managed countless influencer campaigns, and we used to work for tourism brands like Qantas, Airbnb, and tourism boards. The problem is that while creators are increasingly trusted and crucial to the industry, there's just no systemized way for them to make money today. Firstly, there's no recurring income. There's a huge reliance on brand deals, but these are one-off transactional projects. 2, there is a higher barrier to earning. So even with growing a following, it takes time to find, to pitch, and to negotiate with brands. And thirdly, there's ultimately a finite number of influencers that any brand can work with. Our research with 300 creators shows that of those who are currently earning any creator income at all, the brand deals make up 90% of this, but only 10% of their content. So this is where Travis comes in.
Our platform enables creators to earn from their travel recommendations. At the core, it starts with a creator monetization tool. And over time, this grows to become the destination marketplace that travelers are able to discover, plan, and book any of your travel needs based on creator recommendations. Here's how it works. As a creator, it's easy for me to create bookable links of hotels that I've stayed at. The 2 steps. Add a photo of a hotel from my phone or my linked Instagram account, and then tag a brand. These are then put together in my shopfront, which is a visual page that's optimized for bookings. I can share this everywhere on my Instagram stories, TikToks, and link in bios. And this helps make my content. So for example, my hotel room walkthroughs bookable at the point of inspiration. When my followers book through Travis, I earn a cut of this. And even if they're not ready to book yet, they can save the hotels into mood boards on Travis, as well as other places to visit as they continue to plan. Then come back later to book when they're ready. This is a win-win-win. Creators earn recurring income from bookable recommendations. Travelers save time by being able to plan and book at the point of inspiration, and brands are able to reach new consumers at scale through niche creator communities. The market is huge. Hotels alone are a $570 billion market, but that's not all. We will grow into experiences and travel accessories. This combined is an $800 billion market that creators are already creating content for without the opportunity to earn from the bookings that they're already driving. And we have already partnered with over 10,000 hotel partners worldwide with a major focus on the UK and Europe. We will grow this to 500,000 hotels in 12 months. Within the first 4 weeks of launching pre-launch signups, we had over 400 creators sign up to this, double what we expected, and well on track to 1,000 creators by November. And our trip mood boards already help over 1,500 trips get planned on a monthly basis. Our go-to-market is low cost and scalable. We use social ads to quickly test and optimize the market before then amplifying through influencers as well as hotel partnerships. The business model is simple. Travis takes 10% and creators take 5%. So on an average hotel booking of $400 USD, Travis makes $40 and creators make $20. We will reach 1,000 creators next month and 5,000 creators in year 1. On an average of 3 hotel bookings a month, this will get us to $7.2 million in annual revenue. But that's barely the beginning. As we grow our product revenue and grow our creator community, this will get us to 144 million USD in 3 years. These are our 3 priorities over the next 12 months. Firstly, expand our portfolio to 500,000 hotels globally, including focusing on the US as a major market. The more hotels we have, the more creators can earn. Secondly, empower 5,000 creators to earn. This means sustained effort in nurturing our creator community, enabling them to start earning within 3 months of being on Travis, and driving creator-led referrals of other creators as well as travelers. And finally, major product development. This includes a mobile app, integrated bookings, and creator-led discovery. We are looking to speak with investors who want to back the future of creator-led commerce and lead the creator revolution in travel. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Nicole. That was great. With the links to hotels, how do you think of dealing with the issue of like that might not be the lowest price?
So we work with hotel API partners, and we know in our work with them that they will be the lowest available public price there. So that would be on par with things like Booking.com. So in addition to that, through our partnerships, that's where we're discussing additional deals that we might be able to offer them. So consumer deals where we might be able to get additional upgrades or discounts the same way that hotel partners might offer any closed membership groups that they offer right now.
So I was sort of stalking TikTok's job boards the other day, and I saw that the kind of biggest team that's hiring is their e-commerce engineering business, and sort of that's not quite what you guys are talking about. But obviously they have a huge amount of liquidity of supply of creators. Sort of love to understand how you think about the kind of verticalized social media meets marketplace strategy versus the kind of risk of the Instagrams or the TikToks trying to actually support their creators to make money?
So yes, so things like any of the social media platforms have started to introduce e-commerce within their capabilities. We have definitely seen industries like fashion and beauty definitely be years ahead in terms of creator-led commerce, because the products are also easier to sell. There's less barriers to actually purchase from the consumer standpoint. When we look at it from a travel perspective, firstly, it is harder for any of these social media tools which are not built for the specific purpose of travel to do exactly the same thing. So for example, when we talk about integrating hotels, it's not just about the hotel purchase. You do have dynamic rates for different rooms, availabilities and dates involved with it. And so that's where a specialized tool and platform with a focus on travel like Travis comes into play. And then in addition to that, it's the combination of, travel is a bigger cost commitment than a beauty product, for example. So that's where creators really form the role of that trusted, credible source that helps people not just get inspired, but actually influences their booking decision. And the more that we can put the booking decision at the point of the inspiration, where travelers, have the option to book if they want, but if they don't, and they're still through the planning process, we still do have the tool to support the consumer through the planning process and to make a booking only when they're ready to.
I'd love to understand, so you've got 3 markets that you're building out with the...
Yes.
How are you thinking about prioritizing? How are you thinking about managing the building of all 3 and in a way that's scalable as well?
When you say 3 markets, you mean the hotels, the experiences, and
hotels, travelers, and the creators.
Hotels, travelers, and creators. Yes. Okay. Currently, our focus right now is to empower creators. So we have looked a lot at enabling the traveler experience, and what we are doing now is actually looking at them both together, hand in hand. And the way that we see that is that creators, as I mentioned before, are the source of distributed information and trust for travelers today. So we can't really look at one without looking at the other. But in terms of the tools and the unmet need, the need is definitely greater from the creator standpoint. So when we talk about social media platforms, they help with reach and engagement, but they do a very poor job of monetization. And when we look at micro-influencers, micro-creators, those under 100K, those under 50K, and even those with 2,000 followers. As long as you have influence and you are able to, your recommendation is valuable to someone else, you have the potential to earn, but these social media platforms don't allow you to do that. So that's why we're focusing on enabling the monetization capability for creators first, and then growing the rest of the experience. So more of the organic content, more of the discoverability within the app from there too.
Thank you. So that's 7. We're down to the last but not least pitch, and it's all about food and mental well-being. Bree with Whirl. Love the earrings.
I feel like I need to make everyone stand up or something for a second, but we will carry on. So I'm Bree, this is Leash, and we are Well, boosting the world's mood through food. The way the world views food is messing with our mental health. We estimate the average person spends about 1/3 of our waking hours worrying about food and its impacts on our bodies. Let's experience this as a younger version of myself. After a diet blowout on the weekend, my jeans are feeling a little snug, and I decide that I want to start the week right with a bit of a health kick. So like young people then and now, I turn to social media or diets, finding a raw vegan Mars bar slice on the menu, or maybe a juice cleanse. Probably unsurprisingly to yourselves, it takes about a whole 2 days until I've fallen off the bandwagon. I'm feeling pretty shitty about myself because I just can't self-control. That's diet culture, and it is messing with our mental health. There is a $750 billion weight loss industry that benefits every time we fail, and 95% of us do. We are seeking guidance from unqualified sources. 100% of the health influencers on Instagram are not qualified to give out dietary advice. And sadly, we are seeing a 43% rise in people seeking guidance for disordered eating. And weight loss diets are scientifically linked with poor mental health outcomes, such as low body image. We have had enough. We are pushing back on the mental health impacts of the diet industry. 88% of young people are prioritising their mental well-being now more than ever. And we've got huge organisations like Pinterest that are joining in on the fight, with them banning their weight loss ads from their platform. This is why we created Well. We are creating a whole new way to eat, and it's something that we wish existed now, or then, and now. We are boosting mood through the power of food, celebrating its impacts on our mental well-being, based on the scientific links between the gut and the brain, and based on our years of experience as accredited practicing dietitians. We are disrupting the diet industry, leaving behind those weight loss-focused diets, as well as mental well-being apps that solely use meditation, to create a $33 billion new consumer category of nutritional psychiatry. So, let's see how Well empowers our users. So Well provides an entirely new way of eating called Eat with Well. We onboard our users and we get to know their emotional well-being around food. For the example of, earlier example of young Brie, I was feeling guilty on the couch after dinner and binging on chocolate. So we will use our machine learning that helps curate their experience on the app. We provide a push notification for younger version of Brie and to get her to check in with her mood and other inputs so that we can tailor her nutrition intervention. So, and then we provide food that nourishes her microbiome and provides that is scientifically linked with improved feelings of happiness. We also provide audio exercises that rewire her neural pathways around food. So we get her to have, a chocolate meditation that helps her mindfully eat and reduce those binge eating episodes. As a result, we are seeing Brie improve her mood around food, and we are rewarding her progress and learning with a gamified experience. But what makes Well really stand out is our unique IP that sits in our scientific-backed nutrition algorithm. There are multiple occasions in which we eat, and this allows our machine learning to start to predict our users' needs and provide really timely interventions, ultimately creating the world's most comprehensive gut-brain data set. We make money through a B2C subscription service that is supported by secondary channels of B2B2C, such as schools and workplaces, to reach our users at scale. We have created a 20,000 community with no cost of acquisition at this point. And we have been rapidly testing with 700 of these users. We are seeing that Well is more sustainable than diets. We have 4 times a better retention rate than the top health apps on the App Store. We're improving mental well-being. 71% of our users are improving their mood through food, and we have paying customers. Thanks to a government grant from LaunchVic and Vic Health, we have onboarded schools to start using our tool. Our go-to-market is setting us up for epic growth. We are focused on community features right now to soon turn on our paywall, with next year's targets of an MRR of 60,000. We will also be scaling into the US and looking to raise again at that point. Our product launch will be targeting those who've fallen off the bandwagon in the summer shoulder season, using influencers and our health professional network to start to build trust within the community. We are the right team to crack this. We are 2 dietitians with 20 years of combined experience, and we have built this health tech business from the ground up. We have surrounded ourselves with strategic advisors and an amazing team that's growing who are passionate about tech for good. We are Well, we're boosting the world's mood through food, and if you share in our vision, we'd love to have a chat. Thank you.
That was an awesome pitch, guys. Thank you. Just sort of a quick question from me on the go-to-market. I think if you were to pick a segment in the world that had more crowded kind of crap messaging, you kind of couldn't find one. Like, there's so much crap about weight loss online. Sort of love to hear a little bit more about the depth of thinking on the kind of go-to-market strategy and how you're going to break through, I suppose, all of that nonsense, which is kind of like not what you guys are about.
question.
You can answer that.
Throw me under the bus. It's a great question. I think for us, our biggest insight are these shoulder seasons of the diet industry. So we don't want to compete directly with diets during that season. It's way too costly. But what happens, we find about 4 weeks after the sort of New Year period, people have adopted something, a sort of resolution, and then they've fallen off the bandwagon and feel pretty shit about themselves, just like Brie was describing in her younger self, but it's also our current selves. So we know that that's the key insight. They're pushing back on this sort of patriarchal view of health, but they've adopted something that just hasn't worked because we know the science links it with poor mental health outcomes. So that's the time in which we're going to target these people. And to your question around who, young women to start with. Yeah.
Speaking from personal experience, I often download the app and then it kind of falls into the back of and eventually in page 5 of my phone, and I forget to do the various recording and diarying and all of that. Would love to understand, how are you engaging your users? What does that experience look like, and how do you keep them investing in themselves?
For that. So one of the things that's a unique opportunity, I guess, particularly in targeting young women, is that our needs change over time and over life, over months as well. In terms of, if there's a menstrual cycle, there's those needs as well. So what we think is there's opportunities to reconvene or to re-meet our users whenever they need extra nutritional support. Do you want to add anything to that?
Just on the traction, so you said you have a community of 20,000. Is that users of the app or?
No, so we've got 700 using it at the moment, between our social network, our database, and then some of the school network that we've got as well.
And how long have you been cultivating that community?
So we actually had our experiences working in schools previously. So we have those networks already. We have had a social, I guess this has been a side hustle for us for a little while. So we were building the social media following during that period of time. But we've been going hard on this for about a year now. Oh, you can hold.
Sorry, all right. Question, any surprising insights from your 700 beta customers? Are they using the app as you expected them to, or are they using it in different ways?
Yeah, gosh, we've learned so much. I think probably the most surprising is how much more direction people need, probably. And that's probably the latest update that we've done is really directive. The philosophy of, or the science that we use is something called intuitive eating, and it's actually telling people to listen to their own bodies. But that takes a really long time to learn and unlearn things from the diet industry. So we thought, we'll be a little bit hands-off and let them explore, but actually our users want a lot more direction. So we're sort of straddling how we support people to become really intuitive eaters, but also give them the direction they need to kind of embed these principles and behaviours day to day. Yeah.
All right, yay! That's a wrap. That's 8 pitches. We're so on time for the pitches. I know we started late, but the pitches and the Q&A was so on time, and now we're back on track. So congratulations, ladies. That's amazing pitches. We're super inspired, and thank you, audiences, for staying through with us. Now, I'm going to excuse the judges to go for deliberation, hopefully for 25 minutes. All right, so hopefully in 25 minutes, we'll soon know who the winners are, and the one winner that will advance to the global stage, to the bootcamp and finals, and to join us for the Singapore conference. So judges, Connie and Leanne, we'll go with you. Yes, Connie and Leanne are there. You'll go to the deliberation arena where you'll deliberate the winners, and hopefully we'll know soon. And audiences, we have the drinks and the canapes being prepared. So I'm going to excuse yourself for, let's see, 15 minutes of break. Just chit chat, have a networking, and in 15 minutes we'll hear from some of the investors that we have today with us. So, yay, networking time, 15 minutes, washroom time, yay, applause. Hey, wait, I never forget a face when I say
Yes.
Ronnie. Wait, your name? Nick, yes. Hi, Nick. Ronnie.
I knew it was funny. I was like,
Yeah, that's right there. And if anyone needs a reminder, the washroom, the bathroom is just right there in the corner in the back. So if anyone needs to use the toilet, it's on the left corner at the back.
Something else, no. Just
All right, ladies and gentlemen, people. So they said the judges' deliberation will wrap up in around 5 minutes. So it will be great to start coming back and sit down. You can stand. You've been sitting for a long time, so you can stand. But if you can just kindly give your attention to the stage, because I am going to invite a few investors, right, to the stage, because we've been talking about providing access, opening access to funding for women, and we have some investors in the audience today who is writing the check for women, right? So I would really love to give the stage to some of them to talk a bit more about their fund thesis and why they invest in women and why investing in women is not a charity, it's a good economic decision. Yay! Can we have a round of applause for that? So investing in women is not a charity, it's a good economic decision. But before that, so last year's winner, Lucinda Hartley, was supposed to join us, but she actually on air right now for an emergency because she needed to flew to Adelaide. But she was amazing. She advanced to the global final and became one of the top 12 of last year's She Loves Tech annual competition. And she did send a video.
Hey
to
there,
us.
She Loves Tech, and to all the finalists tonight.
Hey
there, She Loves Tech, and to all the finalists tonight, a huge congratulations. I'm so sorry that I can't be there in person to see your incredible pictures. I'm sure they're amazing, and I look forward to connecting again with you soon afterwards. My name's Lucinda from Neighbourlytics, and we were really humbled and grateful to be the winner of the Australian competition last year. And taking part in that global network has been something that's really stood out to us over the past year. We're still in touch with so many of the founders that we met through that process, whether it's a quick WhatsApp text to get feedback on something or share an article or a note of encouragement. It's really such a great community, and I can't wait to see you guys as part of that as well. The last year for us has been one of a lot of challenges and a lot of growth. We were really excited to recently close a capital round, which in this environment was super tough. And we've also launched a new version of our subscription product, which is taking us closer to solving the human data gap for the property sector. So thanks very much for having me tonight. I'm sure it's going to be an amazing competition.
For that, wherever you are right now. So yeah, congratulations again, ladies who pitched today, right? It was an amazing night indeed. And next up, talking about giving the stage to investors to shout out, right? That they are there to invest in women. I would love to invite Georgia McDonald, CEO of LaunchPick, to talk a bit more about Alice Anderson Fund and to open up that access to the founders we have here today. Georgia.
Thank you, Rani. Did you want everyone to come and sit over here? Yeah, sure. You guys all need to come back and sit over here. Thank you for that. That's all right. before I worked at LaunchVic, I worked here at University of Melbourne teaching entrepreneurs for 5 years, so I can put on my school mum type voice and make you all get over here, and I will. Come on, stragglers, over you come. Hi everyone. I'm so delighted to be here. My name is Georgia McDonald and I'm the COO of LaunchVic. I want to start tonight by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land that we're on, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. I extend that respect to the Indigenous folk all around the world who are joining us on the lands where you are. If you're interested in following a really cracking female Indigenous entrepreneur, check out Alana Kennedy. She's up from Cairns in Queensland, and she does this really beautiful range of sunscreens with Indigenous botanicals. Her business name is Ochre Sun, OCHRESUN. You can find her on Instagram, Alana Kennedy. She's an absolute legend of an Indigenous woman entrepreneur, so get on board and get behind her. Who here has actually heard of LaunchVic? Can you put up your hand? Oh, that's so lovely. That's really good. Then I won't do my usual massive long spiel. And I'll just say that LaunchVic has been around for 6 years. We're the state government agency responsible for startups, and we've funded over 140 different programs, including StartMate and Helping Tractor in the early days, to generate more startup activity here in Victoria. So that's to help people start companies, help them to grow their companies, and to help get more investors investing here into the ecosystem. If you're Victorian, then it's your taxpayer dollars that go towards funding LaunchVic, and you might be wondering, well, what's the government got to do with startups, and is any of this stuff actually working? Well, I can tell you that it absolutely is. When we started 6 years ago, the Victorian startup ecosystem was worth a bit over $1 billion. It's now close to $24 billion, and we've been growing, we've been doubling year on year for the last 3 years. So we're now overtaken comparable startup ecosystems. I'm looking at you, Dublin, Hong Kong and Barcelona. We've now pipped, which we're very happy about. I was going to say Sydney will be next, but then I realised this is being recorded and maybe I shouldn't say that. So government intervention in startup ecosystems does actually work. We all know the really terrible statistics about funding for women-led businesses, and we really wanted to make a difference with that. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our $10 million Alice Anderson Fund. It's a $10 million sidecar fund, and we co-invest in Victorian women-led businesses. We invest between $50,000 and $300,000 on a 1-to-3 ratio with private sector investors. It's your investor that applies to the fund, so once you've raised the minimum of $150,000 and you've got an investor on board, they apply to the Alice Anderson Fund. We're happy to write a pre-commitment letter and let you know how much we're happy to invest in you, so you can take that letter around to other investors, knowing that the Victorian government is really backing you in. People kind of think of governments and they think really slow and bureaucratic, and we pride ourselves on running a really very tight investment community with commercial kind of terms. And so we make really quick decisions. Even when that decision is a no, you find out quickly so you can move on and go and find other investors that might be more suitable to you. We're also really concerned that we're value adding to the portfolio companies that we've got. So far we've made 16 investments. It's close to $4 million. But what's really cool is that's catalysed an additional $17 million into those 16 businesses. So it's almost $20 million into Victorian women-led businesses. And for someone who was speaking to me at the break, we do actually do better than any other state in Australia for backing women-led businesses. So if you are a woman founder, there is actually no better place to be than Victoria to get that backing. Like I said, we really want to support our portfolio company. Of course, that means cash, but it also means in being able to bring the value add that we can as government. So Tomorrow we've got our 16 portfolio companies coming to our offices for lunch and maybe a little champagne. It's a Friday after all. And we've got speaking to them our government engagement manager and my CEO, Kate Cornick. And they're going to be talking to them about ways of engaging with government. So if you're a startup, you might engage with government because they might be a customer, you might be in the tendering process, or you might need to deal with them around regulation or for help from them to support the ecosystem. And what we're able to do at LaunchVic is to help our portfolio companies and handhold them through what can be a bit of a myriad of working with government. I'm super proud to have been a little bit of a part of the Alice Anderson Fund. Apart from sitting with the investment committee, I'm not super involved day to day, but please do come up to me if you've got any questions at the end of tonight. You can also look us up on the website, Alice Anderson page on LaunchVic. Our investment manager, Michelle Vu, is open for office hours at any point. So you can tap in, have a chat with her, and she'll help out any way she can. She's like super delightful. If you're at Lift Women last night, you would have seen her pitch. She's probably done better than me. Look, thanks so much, Rani and the team, for having me here. This has been such a cracking night. Judges have a very difficult decision to make. 8 really wonderful pitches and really great businesses. So thanks for having me.
Thank you for that pitch, Georgia. Yeah, one question, sorry, from me and anyone. Yeah, if you have any questions, just find Georgia. So what's the parameter of being a Victoria-based business? As we have some like New South Wales and like Sydney-based founders here.
Oh, look,
that's a tricky question.
We love you all from New South Wales, but we do have to be a bit parochial in this stage. What it means is that you've got a business that's registered, your ABN is registered in Victoria, that you as the woman founder are predominantly living here, and most of your assets are here. Now, if you're a startup, your assets are your people. So what we'd be wanting to see is a woman that lives here in Victoria and most of the team is here. Of course, you've got offshore people, that's totally fine, but in general, most of kind of what you're doing is here.
Thank you, Georgia, for that. All right, Georgia is here and she's available for you to come up to, everyone. And next up we have Claire. Claire from Skeleton Ventures, and she's going to talk a bit more about Skeleton and the thesis.
Thank you, Georgia. Funnily enough, I also ex-lecturer from Monash University, so I can turn my teacher voice on too, but it looks like I don't need to. However, I sort of only jumped ship a couple of months ago, so it's a lot newer world to me. But I suppose I'm going to ask the same question, actually. I don't think we'll have as many hands of people who've heard of Skalata Ventures, except for, easy. Okay, I'm just going to do the quick, I've got like 3-ish to 5 minutes, I was told, so quick spiel. We are a seed stage fund here in Melbourne, but can invest nationally. Just put that on the floor. So we, as well as the obvious capital that we put forward, really try to work with our founders and the companies intensively for the first 5 to 6 months. So we partner all of our companies with one of our venture partners, an elite associate such as myself, to really get in the trenches, work with you on your business, and hopefully get you ready for that next raise. We know that can be quite a tough jump from early stages through seed into the next round. So that's Skalata. Now, in terms of our female investment thesis, I want to flag this by saying, first of all, we're by no means perfect. So I'm not going to come up and say we do X, Y, Z and it's perfect and not an issue for us. We acknowledge, like everyone here would know, and in the broader ecosystem, the underrepresentation of female founders. I will say for us, the way we're approaching it is sort of starting with our team. So 53% of our entire team is female and 50% of our investment team is female as well. In terms of our portfolio, our Funds 1, Funds 2 have 39% female representation. So that doesn't mean sole female founders, but there is female in the founding team. Again, just flagging, we know that there's work to do there. But in terms of how we're trying to approach that, the conversations that we've been having, at least from my perspective in how long I've been here, is that we know there's a lot of conversations around this. So, we'll have a meeting or we'll have something where we talk about it, but we're really trying to penetrate the action points of that. So what does that look like in terms of taking action? For us, one or some of the main areas that we're looking at is what's actually happening in the conversations in female-founded meeting. So typically what we've heard is that compared to male, for instance, it's all about the vision, you're sold on the vision, and there's not a lot of questions around risk, it's a lot less conservative. And the feedback that we're getting is, compared to female founders, it is all around what have you factored in this risk. It's a lot more conservative. So we've constructed a really objective-based way of selecting and interviewing our companies so that we're asking the same questions across the board, and we always have two people present as we're working through. As well as that, looking at our selection pipeline, or looking even earlier on in everyone who's coming through the pipeline, trying to identify, are there certain areas where female founder teams are falling down, and what's the reason for that? So what's the reason for that on our end? But also, is there an opportunity there that we can then, whether it's educating or upskilling, or even just in the way that things are being communicated. So trying to identify what are those barriers and blockers coming through. And the final thing I'll say that we're really hyper aware of at the moment as we look to our next fund is our mandate currently is that we look for innovation, market readiness and capital efficiency. Innovation is subjective, but a lot of people will immediately think there's a tech component to that, right? So it's technology, and then sort of first thing that comes to mind, there's a tech founder or there's a tech co-founder or somewhere, and there's technology. But if we look further than that, we know that that is a sector where females are underrepresented already. So it's like we have these double gates before you even get to us. So we're looking at, can we expand our mandate so that we're not actually excluding people before they've even gotten through the doors. So again, I really encourage you as female founders in the room, please come and have a chat with me, your feedback on your experiences, on what you see could be done better, because we're really in that development phase where we're trying to figure out, we've made some progress, but what's the next step for us, not just Skalata, but more broadly.
Thank you, Claire, for that. Thank you for making it accessible as well for the women founders. I don't have any follow-up questions, so thank you for that. But anyone, everyone, if you want to come up for a chat, Claire will be here. And finally, judges, are you ready? I'll let Connie, probably you want to moderate this winner announcement? Oh yeah, all right. Judges, do you want to come up to the stage and join us here? How was it? All right, Leanne, yes. Tell us how it went.
You know, I think the thing that is resounding is that, firstly, we had 8 incredible women building great technologies. Yes? So please give a round for our 8 incredible women. The other thing that I also want to note very quickly is one of the things that that we've always heard about Sheila's Tech is the camaraderie, right? And about everybody supporting everybody. And I think that the biggest cheers for each other came from each other. And I think people have said, you know, Sheila's Tech is unlike no other startup competition because everybody is cheering them on. You know, they're giving advice, they're really there supporting, and it really is women supporting and uplifting other women. So firstly, thank you so much for that. It really warms my heart. I always feel so energized by all of you. It was a hard decision. We did not come back quickly.
Applause for that.
So I am going to pass it over to the judges who will announce the 3rd place, 2nd, and the 1st.
All right, so in 3rd place, and this was really hard, in 3rd place today we have Tash and the team from Lockpick Games. Come on up, Connie. So just quickly on Lockpick Games, some of us here actually have known Tash for a little while, and just tonight and watching her grow her company, it's been really impressive how much Tasha's vision for the future of learning and the future of educating and the future of how adaptable and flexible that could be is incredibly exciting, and we know that she's just getting started. Tash and the team are just getting started, and really, really excited to see that vision fully come to life and empower kids and probably even one day adults all over the world.
Thank you for that. Cynthia, do you want to say a couple of words? Congratulations. Where do I stand? Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You can stand in the middle so we can take a picture.
Sorry. Yeah, no. Well, first of all, Tash, I know you're watching on live stream. Congrats to us. And as you were saying before, like this is just the beginning. Like we have so many big plans for the next 3 years, like to get the ball rolling. But yeah, we have a lot of big plans. So keep an eye out for Lockpick Games as we change the narrative around education and the studying process for learners. Thank you.
Hey, woo! All right. Congratulations, Cynthia and Tash in South Korea right now. Next up.
And in second place, we have Bree from Well. So again, such a hard decision. We were out there for ages. But what we were really impressed by was just like your vision for how we redo the relationship between food and the mind, and we thought your passion for it as well was like fantastic, and then also just the expertise that you bring as well to a product like this. So yeah, we're very excited to see what you do with it.
Thank you. You keep speaking because I'm tired of speaking. Thank you. No, it means a lot.
We can both speak.
We can both speak. Thank you all for considering us as part of this. It's amazing. It's been an amazing experience, and you're so right in saying most of the support has come from other female founders, which is so heartening. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for hosting this event. It's amazing.
Oh, picture. Okay, maybe I should turn up the music a little bit more because here it is. I should just...
Can we get a drum roll?
We don't have a drum roll, but yeah.
And in first place, we have Helena and the team at Flow of Work. We really loved the clear problem identification with Flow of Work. So with the future of work and the way that jobs are being made obsolete so rapidly, it's increasingly important that you're actually hiring based on skills and that organisations have more of an insight into those transferable skills. So we really thought the problem identification was perfect. And in addition to that, Helena, your background is the perfect fit for the problem that you're solving as well. So that's really important, like founder product fit. Congrats.
Well, I don't even know what to say because I certainly wasn't expecting this. Thank you, and also thanks and congratulations to the team who I think are watching as well. This is sensational. I'm really grateful. Thank you.
So that's a wrap. Congratulations again. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you for being such a supporting pool of finalists. And thank you, Helena. Congratulations. Thank you for flying in from Sydney as well to join us. And we'll see you in Singapore. So, yeah, it's worth it. Yay. Okay. Yay. Love that. Can you just pose for the camera over there for the live stream for people? Okay, so that's a wrap for everyone tuning in online. Thank you so much for being here with us until the end. And for the people here, let's just chit-chat, network over drinks and canapes. We'll be here until the venue tried to close down at 9 p.m. So yeah. Thank you again, everyone.
And thank you to our judges.
Thank you.
Thank you to our amazing 5 judges. And also thank you to our partners. Thank you to the City of Melbourne. Thank you as well so much to Melbourne Connect for making this wonderful, wonderful event happen. I hope all of you had a great time. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. No one wants to stand up? And just, finalists, can we just